Hey, welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts. You're catching me on my YouTube channel, True Divine 44. You're also catching me on my Facebook page, True Divine, and it is the True Divine for both Instagram and Twitter. Any likes, shares, subscribes, comments are greatly appreciated on either all one of those platforms, and I love the comments most of all, as you probably know. So this is part of the free content that I put out on a daily basis to give you guidance, support, inspiration, help you navigate your day. I work with energy anyway for as long as I can remember, and I work with tarot, put the two together to bring you a narrative that hopefully will help you get the best out of any day. So it's general, take what resonates, leave the rest behind, don't manipulate any reading or any reader or the information that they give, including me, if it doesn't resonate with your heart. Be in general, we can't match everybody's day, everybody's feelings, but there is a consensus of energy. There is similarities that we all go through, no matter where we are in the world, depending on what energy there is around, what kind of energy we're putting into the collective and receiving. So again, take what resonates, leave the rest behind. This reading is for the 30th of July 2020. Sorry if you hear some background noise with this TV. My son's got the TV on, he's got his videos on, so I need more curtains up in here and things just to soundproof it a bit more. So bear with me, I'm getting there, I'm slowly and surely picking away, getting things better, getting things more professional and streamlined. It's never going to be professional. So today, there's heartache, because we have the Three of Swords as the first card. So this is brutal. This is genuine pain. But it's pain from the perspective of one, the person who is feeling that pain and the perception of what that pain is and what caused that pain. But also we have the people, the onlookers, maybe. So if you are the person that is feeling certain wounds that are really stirring up inside of you, that you are struggling with, there's the knowing that you may be getting frustrated regarding people around you that they don't understand. And it's hard sometimes for people to understand wounds and hurts, because we are, as a collective, we're very similar, but we are all very different in our individuality. So when we are feeling anything, we're feeling it through our lens, our perception. So sometimes it can get a bit frustrating regarding people around us feeling like they don't understand where we're coming from. And the other person, if you're the onlooker to somebody that you care about, or that you're just observing, you might find that you feel this pain is a little bit distorted, because you can to an extent, but you can't possibly fully look at this pain, this wound, through that person's lens, if that makes sense. So perception is reality, so to speak. So that goes with anything, with pain, wounds, experiences. We could all do exactly the same experience and come out with very different perceptions of what that experience had within it. So it's to have that compassion both for yourself, whether you are the one feeling these wounds and wondering why they're still coming up, or whether you're the onlooker to somebody you care about, somebody you're observing who is feeling these wounds, these insecurities. Something is triggering today. There's a triggering energy in the air. And for those who have the right wounds that align with those triggers, then there might be some struggle as to how you're getting through those wounds, those pains, because maybe you think burying them, or maybe you thought you'd really transmuted them and worked through them, and you're getting a bit of a surprise that they're coming up again. So the Hermit. So to clarify the Three of Swords, we have the major arcana, the Hermit. This is the silent warrior. He wanders your inner grounds, your inner self, with this lantern, and he just silently shows the way, all in the darkest nooks and crannies of self. He's not afraid to face self. He's not afraid to look at self and be self-reflective within that. And so that's a powerful thing, that there needs to be some bravery here regarding really looking and really delving deep and being very honest as to where this pain is coming from, what's triggering it and why. and how you get in touch with self enough to be self-reflective enough to get rid of it as a wound and transmute it into a lesson, into an experience that you can use going forward, into a stitch in your tapestry of your life. And so that it is important that you might think, I don't want to deal with this. I thought I buried this. If we bury things, they're going to come up. We're deliberately being triggered right now by many and various things, and so we are to speaking to ourselves also through the lenses of all of the perceptions created by the advertising, by TV, by movies, by what's going on right now, all of the propaganda, all of the sides, all of the division. And so we're looking at our wounds through that lens also, those many lenses also. So it's to try and dwindle down enough and to get in touch with self enough that you can actually see what is what is trying to be trying you're trying to give yourself a nudge, and there hasn't been enough honesty with yourself regarding if this resonates with you, regarding these wounds and where they really come from. There still feels like a little bit of blaming outside of self. Now, that's not to say that we don't. We of course we have to take note that some people are abusive, and they come into our lives and they're very unfair and they really hurt us either physically or emotionally or mentally. And that's not to say that that person isn't going to face their own consequence. They're building up their own karma, but at the same time, um, there's no matter how brutal the abuse, and this might hurt a little bit because it's very honest, in that you're never going to get rid of that wound unless you look at to why your consciousness was open to that person coming into your life and experiencing that. What part of you was maybe accepting of an abusive partner or accepting of certain abusive treatments, and that's how you delve deep, and that's how you really get into the nitty gritty, the corners with this lantern of the deepest, darkest wounds that you may have. And that's how you finally get rid of them. You debride them, you take off all of that slough of the infection of the wound, and you let it heal properly. And healing, when I was doing nursing, if you were to take a big cyst out, for instance, at the base of the spine, I saw a lot of that. And what they would do is they would hold the wound open, because over the years they'd learned that holding the wound open, so they had metal things going over the wound like an arch to protect the wound. But also this wound was wide open, and we used to put on this gauze, but as soon as you wet it with sterile saline, it turned into like a jelly, so it didn't leave any fibers within the wound. And we had to pack the wound with this stuff, and then we would gradually to put less of this gauze that turned into a jelly-like formula. We would gradually, layer by layer, put less layers in, because we've learned over the years that if we take a big chunk of flesh, of muscle, of whatever it is out, and we were to just stitch it up, um, or if we would do many stitches to do the layers, in that kind of operation, then one, the body is much better at stitching itself up than artificial stitches, and two, it means if you would just let it close up, which is what this Three of Swords represents, you've just buried it, that gaping hole is still there. Now, any hole like that within the body, it's going to get infection. It's going to, because it's not meant to be there. It's a cavity that's not meant to be there. It can breed and brew infected flesh. And so you would have to go in and literally debride wounds, like take off all of this slough, all of this infected flesh. And so this layering up technique is exactly what we've got to do with this hermit energy when we're going through transmuting and working through our wounds, our hurts, so that they don't manipulate our choices in the future. We have to do it layer by layer. You can't think that you can just speed bury it and that's it, it's gone, because then it's always going to be a weakness to you. It's always going to be a weakness to you being a warrior of self, in that there's always that chance that you can have your emotions hooked into, and this wound will come up again out of nowhere, ruining whatever it is in its path, and you can't place where it's coming from, because maybe it's been years since that wound was actually created, but that cavity is still there. So I hope that makes sense. So on the second card, we've got the first, the Ace of Swords. Words are all over the place today. So this is speaking the truth, and it's directly looking at this Three of Swords. So it's speaking truth. You may have somebody around you that, or it might be me, saying these uncomfortable truths about it being your responsibility to transmute through that pain, even if somebody else came into your life and caused it. Um, Otherwise, you're always going to be its slave. You're always going to be these wounds, these hurts. You're always going to be the slave. And whoever decides to hook into those, you're always going to end up being their slave too. If you don't be that warrior, if you don't be that silent warrior with that light going through even the darkest corners of self, and being brave enough to do so. And you might have somebody in your life that you're getting a bit frustrated at right now because they're speaking truth to you. You might get a bit frustrated with the person, or a bit angry with the person that's in your life that is speaking truth to you. It might be that you're getting even frustrated with the universe itself, because you feel like the universe is bombarding you with this uncomfortable truth towards these hurts, towards these pains, towards these triggers, when really it's a gift, because that either that person or the universe itself, you're calling that in. Your soul's calling that in because you want to be healed from these wounds. Right now, you're just going to be triggered by anybody speaking truth into them. So it is an uncomfortable time. Be open-minded. Don't take things, the information, if this is representative of a person or the universe, don't take them personally. This is, debriding a wound isn't comfortable. It hurts, and it's not comfortable to do to somebody, because you know you're hurting them. You know it's uncomfortable. It smells nasty because it's festered. It's not a comfortable process for either the nurse or the doctor doing it, or the patient themselves. And so this represents this truth speaker. They might actually be feeling really frightened and uncomfortable about giving you these truths, but they love you enough, or care about you enough, or the universe itself loves you and cares enough about you to send you these messages of truth, to try and trigger you into the hermit mode, where you can go in within these wounds and find out exactly where they came from. To clarify, that two cards came out. So the Ace of Swords is clarified by the Tower. But immediately after it, look how special this is. I know a lot of people get frightened about the Tower. The Tower is unstoppable change. It is, the tower. This tower is built up on illusion and ego. So just a bit like we were talking about, this just burying of the wound, and leaving that open cavity. Eventually, something happens. It fills up with infection. It bursts open. It smells. So the illusion for itself, where you bury that wound, and leave that cavity. At first, it might look great. Oh, that's fixed. Yeah, we can't see a cavity anymore. We can't see that pain anymore. But that's an illusion, because underneath the surface, things are festering, things are getting infected, things are getting stinky, things are getting dark and dangerous. And so that represents this tower, in that you might have quickly built up this tower of ego and illusion, and perceptions that aren't really yours, or perceptions that you maybe should have grown out of by now. And so each brick, it's think of this tower being built on a sinkhole. All of a sudden, when you least expect it, mostly, something is going to happen. The earth might move a little bit, and this sinkhole just goes, and every part of this tower comes crashing down. And that is what the tower is. And it feels like torture sometimes, and it feels like why me sometimes. And it's because this was never real. It was always going to collapse inward, because that cavity is there under it. And so it's important for us, when we're dealing with our wounds, to do it as quickly as possible and be brave. And the things we have buried, be brave enough to go in and face them before the sinkhole happens, and you have this unstoppable change. This is unstoppable change. But the star card comes straight after it. Even in the deck, it's numbered straight after the tower. Why? Because the star brings true healing, true hope. I want you to picture this warrior energy of the divine feminine. I want you to picture her with scars and wounds, and because she's been to battle, she comes after the tower every time in the deck, if you were to count them up in numbers. So she is well versed in dealing with wounds and really healing and really transmuting that energy. You know, representative of the Pleiades stars, the divine feminine energy, and so. But she's naked. She doesn't mind being naked and exposed because she knows there is nothing she cannot deal with. There is nothing that she cannot transmute because she is the major arcana of the star, and she is connected to the all, and she is the divine feminine nurturing energy. But she is badass because she is the one that carries all of the scars and wounds that the tower might bring her way. And so it's important for you to embrace the energy of this star. Buckle up, get ready. If this resonates with you, or if it comes into your life today or soon after this reading, buckle up and know that you can be this energy of this star card. You can really transmute, and with the help of the Hermit too, all of these three combined, this is ascension. This is powerful change if you embrace it. This is, you can't level up any further until you really deal with these wounds. You really transmute them, you really look at them, you really heal them up layer by layer with the energy of this Hermit card, recognizing that there was a cavity there always. So not why me, say thank you me, because you want to be in a reality that is real, that is full of your dreams, full of your things that you want in your world, not the perceptions of mainstream media, not the perceptions of the corporations, not the perceptions of others, but what you really want to build. And then having the power of this star card, the combination of these three, whoever this resonates with today, this is powerful for you. And you know, leveling up like this isn't going to be easy, because the rewards of leveling up like this is truly amazing. The feeling more connected to all, the knowing self so much more if you embrace the energies of these cards today. This is powerful change, unstoppable change in your life. So harness it through the energy of the star card, which is hope, dreams. Take note of your dreams. Write down your dreams the minute you wake up so you don't forget. Eventually they might start making sense for those that this resonates with. There's messages in your dreams. While you can step away for a little bit, you know, take your body and the perceptions of everybody else out of the picture for a little while and really receive these messages through your dreams, through your subconscious. And so on the third card, we've got the Fool again, and it keeps popping up. And so we keep getting these different opportunities to start again, but to start again, what? Without fear. Without fear of all of the traps and things and people that we might meet along the way that might want to cause us harm. You know, this Fool card goes along his way anyway, because he's at the point in life where he says, um, what have I got to lose? And right now, actually, there is more to lose by going along and keeping your head down and not doing the inner work and, you know, complying to everything that's being put before us. There is real danger there. The dangers that of you going forward, speaking your truth to both self and others, and being true to yourself as to what you want your reality to look like. Regardless, you're actually going to be facing far less dangers by doing that. And it might feel like you're going against the grain. You are, because there's many people just complying to what has been built up all through perception, all through conforming, all through the movies, the mainstream media. And now, even if you avoid all of those, you're faced with social media. So all of the perceptions that are doing the work for these people who want to conform us and control us and give us the perceptions that they want us to have. So you will be going against the grain, and you will face maybe some challenges. You will be going against the tide. But that's a good thing, because it's far more dangerous right now in the time that we're in. It is far more dangerous to go along with the flow. Yes, we've got to dance the dance to a certain extent, but we must continue to speak truth to ourselves and others in order to find ourselves in a reality that isn't very dark. Sorry, I dropped. So, to clarify the Fool card, please. So, to go forward without fear, and you can only do that if you clear up these wounds with this Hermit card. Um, wounds like this create fear. Wounds like this create a false sense of the what ifs. What if this happens to me? What if that happens to me? Um, they blur your lenses. They put layers over your eyes that make your vision, your sight, the connection to the all, your spirituality blurred. Um, and so you're not doing what you came here to do. You're doing what other people want you to do, what you want to conform to, what they want you to conform to. Full card, please. So here we've got the messenger of fire, the page of wands. And so this guy wants to go forward. He is fearless, and he actually isn't afraid of changing his mind. He's not afraid of changing his journey. He's not afraid of following his passions and being open-minded to the changes that might come across. You might, feel you might be the type of person that wants an itinerary in life, that you want to know what you're doing, when, what coach trip you're going on, if you go on a holiday, what time you need to be there. Right now, that's what we need to shed from. In the, this guy, this messenger, this page of wands, he's malleable, he moves, he flows, he's fire, but he's not afraid to alter the course if that is what the universe is trying to put in. What is where his flow is. If it's an altered course to his itinerary, he does it with bravery, he does it with gusto. He's not afraid to go forward in a different way to what was previously thought he had to stay in. And this is a lot of about you are the flame, you are the ember that's coming from the flame. So look at God particle like a fire, and the embers come off, and we all are an ember of the one fire. And so to find your fire, to find your passions, where you're feeling pulled to go to. Um, but right now there's a lot of people knowing that they need to fire. Five of Cups. So there's a lot of people knowing where they need to go, knowing where their passions are drawing them to, but still, this Five of Cups, you still stay. You still don't take up the energy of this Fool card and be um, not afraid of the challenges and the joys and blisses ahead. There's still this holding back here, which isn't natural for this Page of Wands. So there's a real, you're torn. You're not, you've got to go forward in a different way if this resonates with you, but you're torn. You're still conforming to others. You're still sad, so you're still resisting doing this inner work as well, with this Three of Swords at the start of the reading. And that's for you to work through. On the bottom of the deck, we've got the Queen of Cups. Now, she came up yesterday, and right now it's talking about the fact that to take control of our emotions, to really recognize that a lot of what we feel, a lot of what we react to emotionally, has actually been scripted. The Truman Show. It's being deliberately put out there to deliberately trigger a certain part of society, or to deliberately cause divide in a certain part of society. And so this Queen of Cups is really asking us to go against the grain right now, and to really find our true lens. And believe you me, when you start trying to do that, it's quite difficult. You realize just how conformed you've been, just how controlled you've been, just how manipulative the movies and the mainstream media has been. goodness sake, turn off the TV and give yourself a 2 week challenge and see exactly how you start to see things through your own lens. She's asking you, the energy of this card, to use your intuition. You're being pulled somewhere that is good. And yes, there'll be dangers along the way. Yes, you'll be going against the grain for a time, but to be brave enough to recognize that this Five of Cups is no good. The three cups on other decks, there's three cups tipped over, and there's two cups, a balance of divine feminine, divine masculine energy, yin and yang, your power, your fire behind you, and you're just not looking at those two cups. You're not seeing the way forward, not trusting your gut. So this Queen of Cups is asking us to use our intuition, use our gut feelings, and to really challenge ourselves, to strip ourselves of the lenses of the corporations, the lenses of the government, the things that want to manipulate and control how we see things and how we react to things, and really find your own lens. Really find what you really see and feel when you're just using your own lens and not a manipulated version of a lens. So on the bottom of the deck, we've got the Ten of Cups. Now, this is perfect alignment, perfect bliss. Upside down, there's still fulfillment here. There's still an energy of fulfillment, but you don't feel aligned. And you're not going to feel aligned until this Hermit energy with the Star card and the Tower card has worked through whatever these wounds represent to you. So it's a powerful reading. This is a chance of a lifetime. It might not feel like it, but this is a breakthrough moment of you really digging deep and really aligning yourself and really getting rid of wounds that have held you back for a long time, or that have gotten triggered over time more and more, and then you've buried it more and more, and now they're coming up, and this is a real chance, a real gift to really heal those and really find more of your true self, which of course we're all here to do, as well as making it a better place while we're here. So if that resonated with you and you want to dig it deeper with a personal reading, you can get in touch with me, or for any other reason for personal reading, with the details below. Any energy work, again, details below. Any spiritual guidance, again, details below. Thank you to all of the clients that have come forward, helping put food on my table, and thank you to allow me into your life, to help you, guide you, inspire you, and enable you to really do your own work, heal your own self, know your own self. It really makes me, it's what I do. It really feeds me. It really makes me happy to see people finding more of themselves and being more powerful within themselves. So thank you for giving me the opportunity, all of you, to be a part of that. Even with these daily energy readings, thank you for letting me in. Thank you for trusting me enough to give you this information. Much love. Love you all. Wholeness and balance always. Mwah.